Alright, welcome back everyone to another video. We are gonna be continuing on the third-person combat series, and yeah, we're just gonna pick up where we left off in the last video. As you can see, I have switched up the character a little bit. It's just that I get annoyed watching the mannequin run around and do stuff. Also, I find this little guy quite charming, so I'm just gonna use this one for now. It's still very free. If you want the same character, I'm pretty sure you've seen it because Epic has been advertising it a lot. It's in if you go to the marketplace, and let's see, if you go to your marketplace, and then I think it's permanently free now. Oh look, this is cool. They add like free stuff all the time, so it's pretty nice. Here it is. You can see the learning kit, Unreal Learning Kit. Just download it, create a project, and then migrate it to your current project. So you can see that I have my learning kit games in your. When you create that project, just right-click it, type migrate, and then just migrate everything. Find your project folder. Find your content folder, and then just select it, and it should pop up in that project. So it's very easy. As far as the model itself, it's here somewhere. Assets, characters, character, mesh. Here it is. So the way to get it into, I'm not sure if I showed this in a previous video, but the way to get it is, you can see that we have this character here now. It's actually it's the same rig as the normal mannequin. So just find your character skeleton. You can type this one, and then you can right click, or actually you can just right click here, go to skeleton, and then find skeleton, and you will find the skeleton. I've already retargeted it, but when you do the find skeleton, just delete that skeleton, and then when you go back into to the project, the learning kit, to the character, to the mesh, it's not gonna have a skeleton assigned because you just deleted the skeleton. So just right click skeleton and then assign skeleton, and in this list then choose your player skeleton. That's pretty much it for the retargeting. Then inside your blueprint, and it's gonna work this way no matter what character you're using. It's gonna work this way for whatever, for all the characters. All you need to do then is assign the skeletal mesh here in the skeletal mesh. And there you have it. This one in particular is, I think it's looking quite nice. It's free as well, so I just stole it. The only thing is with the dodge roll, as you can see, it's looking quite decent for me when I do it. Oops, I don't know what happened there. The dodge roll is looking quite decent for me, but I had to modify the animation a little bit because the character scale is a little bit weird. So when he dodge rolled with the mix-up animation, it looked like he fell into the ground a little bit. But yeah, so here's a free character if you want to use one. Anyway, let's jump into the combat. In this video we are gonna be doing let's do root motion. Let's disable root motion, because now we are locked in the same rotation when we do the attacks, as you can see. And what's happening right now is I'm actually trying to change direction. You can see it's happening like slowly. There we go. And but I want to do that on every attack. Like your arrow keys or your WASD should decide in what direction you are attacking. So it should look something like this. Oh, okay. I need to disable it because it's hard to even fake with it. So that's what we're gonna do. And you can find this kind of attacks in games like Darksouls and things like that, where you can change the direction of your character pretty much while you're attacking, but it's still gonna be root motion for most part of the attack, so it's still gonna look nice. So, and that's actually very easy to do. If you just go, let's go to our function, and then let's right click and make custom event. Do we even, maybe we should do a rep notify for that as well. Let's do a rep notify. Or should I do a custom event? Can't decide. Let's do rep notify. Root motion active. Because it's gonna be active by default, so maybe it's just gonna confuse me. So I'm just with a notify. So let's just do events instead. Custom event. Client. We are gonna call this client disable root motion and make another one. So I don't think we will need to multicast this. I don't remember, so we will see. So let's start by just doing it on the client and on the server, and I think the server actually, I think it's built into the engine to replicate character movement stuff. So, but I'm not sure if the root motion is actually a part of character movement. So let's just try to do it. So the first run on owning client, and the second we run on the server. But we're not gonna multicast any one of them, and we'll just change that if we need to. Go ahead and call the server function from the client. Server disable root motion. Actually, you know what? I'm overthinking things. Do a run on server and then run on do a multicast. Let's do a multicast, because what we're gonna do here is we're actually gonna do, is it even, I'm not sure it's part of the, let me check 1 second. It's we're gonna need to multicast this, I'm pretty sure. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe we don't. Maybe we don't. Let's keep it like this. I'm trying to look into documentation and things like that. Anyway, let's just try to do it like this, and then we'll change it if we need to, the way that I said first. So grab your character movement. Actually, it's not the character movement, it's the mesh. That's why I was confused. Root, or is it anim instance maybe? Set root motion mode. Okay, there we go. So grab your mesh and then get the anim instance, and from the anim instance we can set root motion mode. So let's see, we want to set it on the client and we want to set it on the server. And then we also want to call the server function, so we're going to call the server function on the client. Server disable root motion. There we go. So here we have a, and then we're gonna pull this one through, and we're gonna drag them both through. So so all the references go straight through. So now we can set what root motion mode we want from this client disable root motion function, and it should be replicated, I believe. Target must have a connection. course it does. The target must also be connected. And the target is the anim instance. So the anim instance is just feed it through. Let's just call it anim instance. I'm not even sure we need to. Actually, we don't need to feed this through. And this is also like a discussed topic. I don't know. I'm not really sure what's best here. Since this is a part of the character, it's pretty much replicated anyway, the mesh. So I don't think you have to set it through the function. And if you want to, you also want to avoid actually sending stuff to, because the more of these inputs you have to send through, the more information you get sent every time you do a server or a multicast function. So it's more or less performant on the network to actually have a lot of information going everywhere. So you always should send as little information as possible. That's why I think this is a better way to do it. So instead of sending it there, we just grab the mesh and anim instance here because it's replicated anyway. Should work. I'm not entirely sure, but we'll just change it up if we need to. And this should run on server. We're gonna do our original idea, run on client. So we have the client and we have the server, perfect. So basically, what we need to do now is we need a timer function that just sets the root motion back, because we only want to disable root motion for like the first milliseconds when we do the attack. So function reset root motion. And we're gonna grab our client. We shouldn't call this disable because it's not only disable. We should set client set root motion mode and server set root motion mode. And stuff like that is important, even if it sounds like not a big deal, because eventually you are gonna end up confusing yourself if you don't name your stuff properly. So the only thing the reset root motion function does, the only thing it actually does is that it sets the root motion. So, but is, yeah, it's let's set it to root motion from montages only, because that's what we have in our animation blueprint. And the only reason I'm actually doing this function is because I want to make a timer to reset it. Otherwise we wouldn't need it. Otherwise we would just use the function. Otherwise we would just use this function that we just made. So should we just do an event then, maybe? Let's do like this and let's see how it turns out. Combat. We have our event attack here. So this is our attack function. So basically, can we collapse this? Maybe not a function. It's not really. We're not really gonna use this again. So I just think it looks bad. to have it. I'm just gonna collapse it to a macro for now. And let's call it set combo amount. Okay. And then we need a return. Just like that. There we go. So just to set the combo amount, then we are gonna client disable client set root motion mode. We are gonna set the root motion mode to ignore root motion. And then, so right when we do the attack, we ignore root motion. And then we're gonna set timer by event. No, by set timer by function name. And we're gonna set timer by function name. And the function name is gonna be called reset root motion. So basically the only thing this function does is it sets root motion back, and we're gonna set it back after 0.15 seconds maybe. Yeah, that should work. Let's see if it works. It's not though. It's still the same. Owning client, reliable. Do I need to multicast this? 1 second, let me see. I'm not sure. Let's just try setting it to run on server and multicast, and let's just see if the error is that we just need to replicate it with a root motion. I'm not sure. Okay, let's try to. I'm not really happy with the way I set this up, because I can see that I'm already confusing myself a little bit when I'm clicking around finding all my functions, so I should actually gather it. Okay, so we can see that it's now I set, just for trying out, I set the root motion to being disabled for a longer period of time, and you can see that I'm sliding around, so it's working. So it's just the time that I need to, it's just the timing that I need to figure out what's actually best. So a little bit longer basically than, because I had 0.15, let's do 0.25 maybe. Don't understand why it's not turning. Because it feels like it's working. I'm just gonna try out some stuff. This feels way too long, 0.5 seconds, it's very long. And you can see the sliding is a lot then. And it's actually, wait, let's just to make sure, if you go to your attacks, did we set up a, we didn't we? Okay, it's working, but it's not working nice. 1 second. Sorry about that, Corona. So it's working, but it could be working nicer, as you can see. And I think what we need to do is basically, because I have this spammable thing, as you can see, it's hard to actually make it look nice. So let's just add a, let's stop us being able to spam. So before we attack in our combat graph, okay, this is gonna be a little bit longer video than planned. So variable, we're gonna change 2 things. Can take action. So do a branch. So we're only gonna attack if we can take action. And can take action should be true by default. We're also gonna go to our event graph, where we have our spacebar logic. Actually, we already had this. When did I do that? We have this already. Okay, I did that in a previous video, I guess. Sorry, I'm tired. So, can take action. Or maybe I did it in between videos, I'm not sure. Do I have a state for that? Ah, okay, yeah, I have this state, can take action. Sorry, I'm forgetting what I have in my own videos. So we have this state, can take action. Let's add that to the sword attacks. Sorry, it's just that I didn't have that. Add notify state. State can take action. State can't take action. I'm not sure it was in the list before. It should be. Can't take action. So when I'm attacking, I can't attack again until I'm at a comfortable attacking point. So somewhere around here. And let's do the same for attack number 2. So add notify state. State can't take action. So somewhere around there, maybe a little longer. No, there. Perfect. And you have to experiment with what's feeling good for you. Let's just see if the spam amount, if the spam disabling is enough. So this is me spamming now. It does feel weird. It's something that's not working still. I'm not sure why I'm confusing myself with all my functions already, because there aren't that many. Maybe it's just because I have too much stuff open here. Okay. This is clearly not working the way it's intended. Something is weird here. I'm just trying to figure out what. because I think I have 0.15 in my other. I've done this a lot, and so something's clearly not working. Okay, so let me just pause the video for 1 second and I'll investigate a little bit. Alright everyone, I am back from that little break. For the record, I fixed it pretty quickly this time. So just jump back in the video a few 1 or 2 minutes. You can see this is where the stuff that I collapsed to a macro before. What I did to fix it was remove the macro, just do it again, and go into the macro, copy everything, and go into your attack function again, and just copy it out again, and then feel free to delete the macro because we're not going to need that. And all the root motion stuff I had here I just removed. And then if we go to our combat graph, instead of doing it inside of the attack function, I realized that this is pretty much like a function, so we're just going to do most of the logic out here, but we're going to separate it into different small functions here instead. That was also probably why I was a little bit confused, because this is how I usually do stuff. So not sure why I tried to switch it up there. So this is our attack function. After our attack function, do the client set root motion to ignore root motion, and then we do this set timer by function name, which is the reset root motion that I told you about. So the setup is pretty much the same. To be honest, I feel like it should have worked before. I'm not really sure why it didn't, but that seemed to have fixed the issue at least, because now you can see it's a lot more responsive. And this is what I wanted. So now it's responsive, and we can, as you can see, we are attacking in the direction that we want to, basically, with each attack. Each attack I can switch around a little bit where I'm going. And you have to experiment a little bit with that to make it look really nice. But I think it's looking quite alright already. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this video. At least it didn't turn out to be 40 minutes. 27 is still a little bit too much to just disable root motion, but it's working fairly alright. So yeah, anyway, let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Bye.